much. So አሁን ጥያቄ እንቀበላለን from all of you. Please raise your hands.
Good questions.
Yes, thank you. የመጀመሪያ ጥያቄ is how you deal with government factors that exist on environment እነሱ መኖራቸው ስለማይቀር ከእነሱ ጋር እንዴት ነው ዲል የሚደረገው?
ብዙ ጥያቄ ለመመለስ እንዲቻል አጠር አድርጌ ልመልሳቸው። So we have to succeed despite them. We all complain. We have to be part of the solution, of course. ግን እንደናንተው ነን እኛም we have power and we don't have power at the same time. We have power to engage. በቻልነው ኔትወርካችንን ተጠቅመን we will try to push ideas formally and informally. የምናረጋቸው ብዙ ነገሮች አሉ። አንዳንዴ we succeed, but that's a distraction ለኔ. So as entrepreneurs we're supposed to find ways to make things work, right? So we have to focus on being successful despite all the challenges. I'm sorry, I don't have a better answer for you, but መታገል ብቻ ነው. There is no giving in. What I would say is I'm more and more optimistic despite the troubling political situation. The attitude of or the direction of some business policies is positive, the direction. And at the top, the intent is relatively positive. ጥሩ ነው፣ ወደምንፈልገው ቦታ እየሄደ ነው. The problem is in the middle bureaucracy. መሀል ላይ ያለው tooth and nails fights back because they are not used to supporting businesses and entrepreneurs. So አገሪቷ እስክትቀየር ድረስ ቁጭ ብለን መጠበቅ ስለማንችል we fight. I fight just as much as you. I couldn't register ARP in Ethiopia, so we registered in Delaware. Is it optimal? No, but we'll find a way to make it work. Yeah.
And the same person, the second question is, can you tell us a little bit about the startups that you invested in? What did you see in those startups?
So non-tech businessoች ላይ I've been investing for at least 10 years, maybe close to 15 years now. And some of them are quite successful, and that's really mostly in the real estate space, both in Ethiopia and elsewhere. But they're not all successful. ባጭሩ, if you're looking for that, በአፍንጫችን የተተከልንባቸው there's quite a few. I've actually invested in an olive farm in Tigray some few years ago. It was actually quite promising. The farm is still there. ደፍሬ ሄጄ ባላየው. There's about I think 60 hectares. It's really promising, but it kills me that we've gone from all of that inspiration to all the wrong things እንደ ሀገር ማለት ነው. So I've seen my fair share of failures, probably more failures than success, I would say. Some businesses had done really well and we ran them for 7-8 years and recently closed. በስም መጥራት ስላልፈለኩ ነው. And some of them are still quite promising. So in Ethiopia እነዛ ቢዝነሶች ነው የተለመዱት. So tech ላይ, maybe with the exception of the ride hailing business, ብዙ runaway successes ማውራት በጣም ከባድ ነው. I think the last question was on the stock market. Maybe it doesn't solve all my problems, but it's one of those things we say is in the right direction. Right? So market economics is basically about capital allocation. The market allocates capital where it thinks there is the highest return. Capital marketoች ሲኖሩ በእኛ ሀገር over the last 50 years the government says I don't trust the market. I am all knowing. I'm going to invest because those business people are going to profiteer themselves and not add any value, or በቂ እውቀት የለም. Some of it is justified. I'm not blanket disagreeing with that. ግን አሁን let's start the process ከstate led growth to market led growth ተብሎ አንደኛው መሬት ላይ የተቀመጠው ነገር ነው so በዛ ምክንያት I'm excited it could as I understand it ደግሞ ካፒታል ማርኬቱ አሁን it has a small business window ተብሏል it might be the innovation maybe ሌሎች አፍሪካ ሀገራት ውስጥ ብዙ ያላየ ነው ወይንም ሰክሰስፉል ያልሆነ crowd funding platform ሁሉ ኢንስቶል ይደረግበታል ተብሏል all of these things are promising for startups for businesses I'm excited ለኛ the startup law would be the best thing to pass registration ላይ ያለን issue ከዛ ጋር በተያያዘ ይፈታል ብዬ ስለማስብ ነው ስለምሳሌ እንደ holding company register ማድረግ እንችላለን legally አገር ውስጥ ገቢ ግን እንደ holding company treat ያደርጋል so there is no point registering because as a holding company register መናረጋው ለማቀናነስ loss write off ለማድረግ ነው አይደለ ያ እንደ venture capital register የማድረግ capability ባይኖረኝም as a holding company register አድርጌ achieve ማድረግ ይችላል የነበረውን አገር ውስጥ ገቢ so እነዚህ ነገሮች solve ቢደረጉ stock market ባይኖርም we could operate መኖሩ ግን it added so many other things ለምሳሌ እስካሁን ያላወራ ነው አንድ ነገር አለ exit venture capital is in the business of valuations አብረን build የምናደርገው is the value of the company and eventually you sell that company I mean you could stay a shareholder for a very long time እስከንሞት አንለቅም ማለት እንችላላችሁ ግን essentially that's what anybody read Startup Nation oh you guys have to start reading ስለ እስራኤል ነው it's worth reading I mean Israel has become that country በጣም brilliant ideas tech enabled የሆኑ build አድርገው ለትልልቅ ኮርፖሬሽኖች በመሸጥ የሚኖሩ ናቸው በቃ basically anyways I got sidetracked but ምን ለማለት ፈልጌ ነው it's a potential exit for all of us እኛ ከናንተ ጋር ስንጣመር አብረን ኤግዚታችን አንዱ መንገድ ስቶክ ማርኬት ሊሆን ይችላል really in reality ግን buyout is probably the best the most reasonable practical exit for all of us which means when you're building your businesses and startups think about what your exit is going to be because we are I guarantee you any investor putting money in your startup is thinking is this thing have an exit or not is ለምሳሌ if I had invested in Ride I didn't get a chance to be honest I was never offered but offer የተደረጉ ጓደኞች አሉኝ ሳይወስዱት ቀርተው ያለቀሱ በጊዜው I don't know maybe ፈረስም አለ እዛ ውስጥ አሁን ግን maybe Uber or somebody will come and buy them ማለት so that's an exit mechanism so an investor is always going to look into that ቅድም በጣም ብዙ ነገር አለ ያልኳችሁ ለዚህ ነው but that's an important topic ለኛ capital markets could be possible exit so I've my fingers crossed also. More questions? I don't know how many minutes you have.
That was my line.
ልምድ አለኝ እና መድረክ መያዝ
የዚህኛው ዙር የመጀመሪያ ጥያቄ is how does organizational structures go when it comes to tasks, rules እነዚህ ነገሮች ዲቫይድ አፕ ሲደረጉ ካምፓኒ ያደገ ሲሄድ እንዴት ነው የሚሆነው
ምን ቢዝነስ ላይ ነው ያለው okay I don't have a great answer for you I'm not the best እዚህ ላይ ግን ራሱ ስኪል የሚጠይቅ ነው ኦርጋናይዜሽናል ሴትአፕ ራሱ ማለት ነው yeah let me refrain from making to my suggestion again what I would say is if you are the leader you want to make sure that you're not bogged down too much on the day to day of the work you want to make sure you have plenty of time to build business relationships to be the face of the company to sell most important task to recruit important people and one thing a lot of startup leaders forget time to think idle መሆን መቻል አለባቸው idle መሆን አለመስራት ማለት አይደለም you have to think እና your most important decisions are about asset allocation because you have finite resources ስለዚህ are you maximizing the output out of your assets it could be your office your people Do you have the right people in the right positions? Are you empowering them enough? Are you supporting them enough? Do you have somebody there that shouldn't be there? Should have left a long time ago? Do you have someone who could contribute so much but has not given a chance? እነዚህን ጥያቄዎች I would advise you spend a lot of time on. In terms of the structure, I would say, speak to, there's a lot of people who do this. የኔ philosophy ትንሽ ለየት ይላል. I'm a little bit more on a dynamic side of things. I don't believe in having, በጣም ብዙ organizations believe in having a beautifully crafted structure. That's always been a challenge for me as I run my businesses. Some of our former staff and current staff here in this group might have suffered in this program under me. Again, part of it is I don't want, we need to innovate and work together towards a specific goal. እና ግድግዳ እየሳልን the opportunity to work together እየቀነሰ ይሄዳል እና ስራዬን ሰርቼ መውጣት ምን እንደዚህ አይነት የሚባል ነገር የለም. You have to as a team solve the problems እና more dynamic የሆኑ structures I'd recommend, በተለይ at this stage when you're in early stage in your business. There's a few more questions. ያንተ?
So what is your take on partners? አስፈላጊ ናቸው ብለን እንችላለን በሚል ሰው እሱ እና what do you look for in partners?
This is what we call a necessity or necessary evil number. Again, it's not really evil. It's a skill you need to build. If you don't work with others well, my guess is you have no business running a business. But I'm kabad no by yourself. But especially the kind of businesses that we would invest in as VCs that is scalable. You have to like people. You have to like working with people. You have to know how to have the presence of mind and calm to work with people. Nobody's perfect, of course. You need to do it good enough, right? The more you do it, the better. So partners are difficult, but Zaga, somebody was saying the challenges always come with opportunities, and the opportunities always come with challenges. Xavier it's got a sense of humor. That's all I could say. Now, the challenge is a challenging ሀገር ብዙ ችግሮች አሉት ሶልስ ኦን ኦፖርቹኒቲ እንዳለው ማለት ነው። እና that's how I see partners. If you want to build something massive, partners ያስፈልገዋል. Simple as that. The next is how do I select the right people? Incubation programs over the world, also our experience at Precise. The biggest success factor is selection. It's no different in partners. Select carefully. Select the right partner and you will go very far. Select and then structure. So character kalkein, I think you want the similar worldview. What do they believe in? Their culture is very important. አንድ አይነት አመለካከት አላችሁ ወይ? Do you have similar ethics? በጣም critical. Do you like each other? If you can't stand each other, bad sign. ከመጀመሪያው very obvious things እያልኩ ያለሁት ግን they're the most important things. Like everything in the world, the 2 or 3 things that you pay attention to make a decisive difference. እነዚህ ናቸው. Do I like them? Do we have the same worldview? Do we have similar ambitions? Do they bring value add to the team? Once you have that, make sure you structure it well. ጓደኛ ካላችሁ lawyer or whatsoever, pro bono የሚሰሩ ሰዎች ካሉ, figure out how to structure your business and shareholdings so they have stake just like you in the business. Stake ከሌላቸው እነዛ ፓርትነሮች ቅድም ስላልኩት ብዙ አላበዛው. That's a reason for not getting along down the line. መቀናናት እኔ እየሰራው እሱ ወሰደው all these things. So without partners you're not going to go very far. Cliche እንዳይሆንባችሁ ብዬ ነው. The African proverb ታውቁታላችሁ. If you want to go far የሚባለው ማለት if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go together. የሚሉት አባባል አለ። በጣም ትክክል ነው እዚህ ላይ። ሶስተኛ ጥያቄ ምንድን ነበር? What do you look for? I think አብሬ መልሼዋለሁ ይመስለኛል.
What books do you recommend for scaling startups?
Oh, right. So many good books out there. So many good books out there. 0 to 1, Peter Thiel. Yeah, the guy is controversial, but the book is undeniable. It's just a fantastic book. ሌላው I will say is blitzscaling. Blitzscaling is a very good book. It's my growth mindset and what it's going to take to grow fast, because you have to grow fast. You have to, mindset አችሁ 10%, 20% a month ማደግ የሚችል ነገር ነው መጀመሪያ ያለባችሁ። ካለዛ forget the equity space. ዶነሮቹ ይሻላችኋል. Right? There's a few other books. ታይትሉ ጭንቅላቴ ላይ ጠፍቶ It's about business. It's actually 2 books written by the same author. One is What You Do Is Who You Are, I think, something like that, about business culture. Suna, the hard thing about hard things. አንድ ጊዜ ትዊት አድርጌ ነበር for startups, good books to read. ሌሎችም አሉ, the lean startup. All of these are useful. Read as many of them possible, read as often as possible, and reflect on them and try to implement some of these things. We learn not by reading only. We learn when we do those things. Test out. የሚነግሯችሁን ነገሮች መጽሐፍ ስታነቡ test them out immediately. See if it works for you or not. Fail fast የሚባለው ኮንሰፕት ነው። ግን ያነበባችሁትን ነገር immediately ነው የምትረሱት ካልተጠቀማችሁበት። I guarantee you, that's just how the human brain works. Whatever you use, you're going to keep. Whatever you don't use, you're going to lose. So I would say start with these, and you can contact me anytime. There's like a million books in my head I can recommend.
Alright. The idea is when it comes to tech products, MVPs are new. So MVPዎቹ ከጀርባቸው በጣም structured የሆነ organization የተሾመ ኦፊስ ምናምን, like do you actually need those things ወይስ MVP push ቢደረግ ይልናል? እነሱ ጋር ተያይዞ ደግሞ when it comes to intellectual property, the MVP ብቻ ተይዞ license or patent ለማድረግ how do you go about that?
የመጀመሪያው ጥያቄ እኔ even just explain ስታደርጊ I'm like I have to talk to her ያልኩት immediately, because what do I care about the office? ቀስ ብሎ ይደርሳል አይደለም እንዴ? ቅድም እንዳልኩት ነው. What I care about is, do you have the right idea? Do you have the right team? Can you execute? Can you show me some traction in the market? ጣራ ላይ ሆነሽ ብትሰሪ I don't care. Personally, that's eventually that will come. Okay? I hope I addressed that perfectly. Business plan, ምናምን የሚሉ, if you have it, nice. I'm not looking for a business plan. ካለ የሚያስተምረን ነገር አለ፣ ግን የሚነግረን ነገር አለ፣ ኢንፎርሜሽን ይሰጠናል, how you're thinking, how you're analyzing ምናምን፣ ግን it's not an absolute requirement. We'll invest before a business plan. Before a business plan. Early stage investment ስለሆነ ማለት ነው. So see it as something good to have, but not must have. The IP issue is the tricky one. That's really the tricky one. I'm not an expert in terms of on the registration. I know intellectual property right office እንዳለ ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ እዛ ማነጋገሩ I recommend definitely. What you have to protect I don't know, so it's hard for me to say. ግን ለኛ for the investors this is one of the places where we're really challenged. A lot of people will come in and say I'm afraid my business idea will be stolen. It makes it very difficult to even have a conversation. What I suggest always is share enough መጀመሪያ ላይ conversation ለማስጀመር and ምን እንደሆነ ሳያውቁ ነው. In general, most cases እኔ where you're going to make a difference is on execution. ለኛ let's say fintech, you know how many payment startups there are even in Ethiopia? As slow as it is to go in this continent, ለምሳሌ ኢስት አፍሪካ ማለት ነው. እኛ ጋር ትንሽ ነን ብለን ነው የምናስበው፣ ግን ፊንቴክ ለራሱ ማት ስታርታፕ ነው ያለው። So when I talk to one fintech company, if I say I can talk basically NDA ፈርሜ ሲክሬት አልናገርም ምል ከሆነ it's like I can't even talk to the next startup. I may not even invest in you. You're going to ask me to not talk about your business or your business kind of stuff for the next 3 years. It's a non-starter. And for the most part, ብዙ venture capitalists won't even sign an NDA. They'll just say, share with me whatever you're comfortable sharing. If you're not comfortable, then I guess we're not talking in a So I would say, I don't know, but I'm Italian, figure out a way where you're not necessarily sharing everything, but you're sharing enough information to pique the interest of the investor and focus more on execution than anything else. Let me tell you something. We were contacted by some private equity firms, invest in tech. I was talking about something as simple as dairy processing. Okay? እና ኢንቨስተሮች አሉ ሊያወሯችሁ ይፈልጋሉ ብለን ጠራናቸው። with me and another colleague of mine በስንት መከራ ሳመነናቸው መጡ። ከዛ ሚቲንግ ሩም ቴብሉ ሎንግ ነበር። I remember we used to be in Edna Mall ከዚህ እዛ ይደርሳል። መጡና እኛ እዚህ ጋር የተቀመጠው እዛ ጋር ሄደው ተቀመጡ። ኮርነር on the other corner እና entire body language-አቸው ሁሉ ዲፌንሲቭ ነው። ፈርተውናል። እና in their mind their business secret ሊሰርቅ እንደመጣ ነው። Mind you, milk processing. እሺ ወተት የአርሶ አደር ላም ሐልባ ከነሱ ኮሌክት አድርጎ ወተት ፓስቸራይዝ አድርጎ ላስቲክ ውስጥ መክተት ቢዝነስ ሲክሬት ሆኖ Of course, there's a good ending to the story. ከ10 ዓመት ነው በኋላ they ended up actually having private equity investment. I don't know if they're happy or not. ተማሩ their first interaction ግን እንደዛ ነበር። ይሄን ሁሉ መለፈልፈው ምን ለማለት ነው? I don't know. I mean, make sure you have something really worth protecting. Maybe you do. ስለማላቅ ብዙ ማውራት አልፈልግም። አብዛኞቻችሁ whatever you're coming up with is going to be similar to other businesses. እና focus a lot more on how you execute, how you create competitive advantage that you can continue to build on. This is about strategy. Learn about strategy. Things that you can continue to build on that the competitor will have a hard time following you on. Let me say, if you can figure out how to build a banking business that operates on much less cost than the current businesses, brick and mortar banks. But costacho high no. They have a lot of employees and they have a lot of branches. Yeah, cost introduce digitally with banking efficiently. Your costs are going to be a fraction of their cost. So that's an initial competitive advantage. That competitive advantage is not static, it's dynamic. Which means the minute you do that and they see you make $1 billion, there's going to be 10 other people trying to do what you do. Right? So where you're going to make a difference is on how you execute and how you continuously invest in the right things that keep pushing you on. The banks are not going to follow you. So this is what we do, disruptive innovations, like how Ericsson got killed by Apple and all that stuff. Will Tesla kill Ford and General Motors? That's the question of the day. Every day, every few weeks now, Tesla reduces their price. I thought, what? Do you know why? They have massive production capacity. They have a massive lead on electric cars. Their margins are still 20-something%. አሁን እየቀነሱ ነው ዋጋ እየቀነሱ ስለመጡ ማለት ነው። ግን the regular cars, the fossil fuel cars, their margins are in the low single digits. ስለዚህ they can keep reducing. Maybe some of them will go out of business. Yeah, ምንድነው what Tesla is doing, what Musk is doing is building a competitive advantage that's dynamic and that builds on itself. One of my other favorite books about strategy is called Good Strategy, Bad Strategy. I recommend ብታነቡት ቀለል ይላል ለማንበብ just tell stories እና ይሄ ሁሉ ምለው ምን ለማለት ነው IP is important but don't give it too much importance. ከቤት ሳትወጡ ቁጭ ብላችሁ እንደዋጣችኋት እንዳትቀሩ አደራ።
Okay, we're kind of running out of time. I don't want to rush you, so sectors like invest ለማድረግ ሲባል what metrics do we look for? እና ሲቀጥል ደግሞ acquisition is an exit strategy ከተባለ how do you deal with the LPs that invested in that and at the end of the day have to sell their shares?
ምንድን ነበር on the sectors? how we pick.
Metrics do you look for?
I think what metrics ቅድም ያወራቸው issues ናቸው really there was something else sectoroቹ not the businesses but essentially we focus on the businesses really but the businesses operate in the sector so sectorun እናያለን ግን we're not really so much worried about the sectors it's the growing economy it will grow for a while እንግዲህ እያያችሁት ነው ጦርነት ኮሮና አንበጣ ጎርፍ ድርቅ anything biblical I missed አልሞትን ምስቲል እና I don't think we're going to die I think growing country growing region ነው ብዬ ስለማስብ በሴክተር ደረጃ ምን ፈራው ነገር agriculture reduced its share not a problem again the share might be reduced but the absolute value is still very large so we're not really worried about that more what I'm worried about is what scalable asset light business model can we invest in to help agriculture perhaps the one thing I could see ብዙ ያየሁት ያልሆነ ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ is a business that connects farmers to markets somebody figures that out I would love to see lemon it's a huge value there እኛ በፕሪሳይስም ስንሰራ ብዙ ቦታ የምናየው ነገር ምንድነው መሃል ላይ 2 3 4 5 people አሉ they just make money add to the final product ግን their value add is somewhat limited enough that's taken off in Kenya ለምሳሌ there's a few companies አንዱ እንዲያውም the CEO the East Africa CEO is an Ethiopian guy that's something worth duplicating is that sector ላይ ያላችሁ ካላችሁ I would say you're on the right track ደላላዎቹ ሚድልሜን ግን ያው ማዝራት መጪ ነገር ናቸው እዚህ ሀገር ለነፍሳችሁ መጀመሪያ ቦዲጋርድ መቅጠር ሊኖርባችሁ ይችላል አንዳንድ ሴክተሮች ላይ quite aggressive they want to protect the stuff they don't earn that's how gangsters work again this is a huge value add ስላለው you want to focus on that
thank you everyone for coming thank you for your questions